last weekend, the Democratic Party of Nevada was taken over by Democratic Socialists. Huge story we covered on the show. It was the executive committee that was taken over, which really calls the shots. And as a result, the staff left. Some of it, the executive director was already on the way out, and then the rest of the staff left. But they gutted the party of all its money and decided to funnel it to the DSCC and some other places to essentially pay consultants that are their friends. Just classic Democratic Party. But Jon Ralston, who is, if you don't recall, he is a Nevada reporter. He is somebody everybody looks to when the caucuses happen. And he was the one in 2016 that reported on the famous chair throwing incident that may or may not have happened. So he's got a great relationship with like the progressive side. So he tweeted this out today. Oh my God, I just couldn't. All right. As I said, I'm learning a lot. Quote, the Las Vegas DSA Socialist Feminist Committee views capitalism and not just the patriarchy as a source of gender oppression. Ladies and gentlemen, your new Nevada Democratic Party. And I love Mike from PA, a friend of the show, says, Jon Ralston, please read a book by a feminist theorist for the first time challenge. This just made me laugh. I'm sorry, guys. But like... it's too cute. It's too cute. And they're so oblivious to, they really should be covering DSA, in my opinion, because if the DSA is taking over the Democratic Party, these reporters have a duty to understand what DSA represents. I mean, what do you think that they think the left is, Piper, as a DSA leader?
It's really funny how similar this kind of fear-mongering around socialist feminism is to the way that Tucker Carlson was speaking in a clip that we just heard a second ago. Ladies and gentlemen, perhaps the fact that women are materially impacted by the way that our capitalist economy exploits people, maybe this is something that we should think about. And the fact that this is a new idea or is in some way too radical is, of course, one of the reasons that I'm organizing within the DSA, because I think that it's essential that we understand this, and many people understand how this already impacts them in their everyday lives. But it's, of course, infuriating to see this all lifted out of the realm of talking about people's material struggles solely again into this culture war, where everything is about radical emphasizing this. The fact that the person who's tweeted this clearly wants us to believe that smash the patriarchy is something that belongs on a mug, and that feminism is not actually a struggle you bring into your everyday life and is something that you seek to win not only by talking just about a single issue, but understanding intersectionally how strengthening unions and achieving, for example, universal healthcare would improve women's lives. I mean, obviously, that's what a vision of socialist feminism means to me. And of course, it has to do with the way that capitalism takes away from people the very basic things that they need to survive. So I'm thrilled that the Nevada DSA and Bernie people who are now in the Democratic Party are pushing that message, because it seems very clear to me.
Yeah. It's almost like they need to have conference calls with these reporters to educate them a little bit more about basic. It's mind-blowing that this guy could have an entire career and tweet that out mockingly, but I should be surprised, but I'm not. Natalie, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, to take his tweet in good faith, maybe he was being a little sarcastic, and maybe I'm sure that he was genuinely being confronted by this argument for the first time. And I think that it's very possible to be a relatively educated person in the United States and really have no sense of material relations, no understanding of, Marxist critiques of capitalism, et cetera, by design, right? Like we're not taught those things on purpose. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is I think that COVID has actually been a moment of, great visibility for socialist feminist arguments.
Right.
Like Silvia Federici has been in the New York Times recently. The idea that we have to sell our time for wages, and that in a country with no universal welfare programs that were then pulled in multiple directions. I think people understood that. It's not as if that's completely new, but I do think that it was the first time that a lot of upper middle class professionals were really forced to confront these things to the degree that they have. And, I hope that there ends up being more understanding of, capitalism. And I don't use the word patriarchy in isolation anymore. I think it can be, a helpful descriptor. I think that something can be, a patriarchal scenario or whatever, something along those lines. I think we understand what that means, but there is no patriarchy without, at least not in the way that we understand it. Yeah, I think that it's very, very important to understand feminist oppression through a leftist lens and to understand these things. And, I hope that he reads that whole thing and asks some follow-up questions and joins one of the events that I'm sure that they put on in their chapter or others. I think that these are things that are really great to understand. And in my experience, I think that a lot of maybe liberal or progressive women hearing socialist feminist arguments really is a game changer for them. I think that they're powerful arguments in my experience. And so I hope that more people hear them.
Absolutely. And we need to lean on unions to make that case as well, especially the female-led unions, to connect the dots, because Jon Ralston is a reporter who covers politics in Nevada, which is a heavy union state. And the fact that he couldn't connect the dots there after reporting there for that long, that's what shocks me, is how you can operate in those spaces. Sort of shocks me. I don't know. It's just an opportunity. This is why you have to take over, the DSA has to take over the Democratic Party, because when they win, all these reporters, this isn't why, but all these reporters are now confronted with, they have to learn. They have to learn. So anyways, Piper Winkler, Natalie Shore, always a pleasure. Thank you for joining us for Femme Friday.
Thank you so much. Happy Femme Friday, everyone.
Happy Femme Friday. We should tweet that out. Get that going. Happy Femme Friday.
Okay.
All right. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to Professor Harvey Kaye, because he connected us with our main panel today, talking about the Wisconsin Economic Justice Bill of Rights. It was amazing. So I want to give him a shout out. I know that he's in the chat right now, and he did ask me, he said, you might want to ask I don't know that. What happened to the La Follette progressive tradition in Wisconsin, to put it in historical perspective? So I missed that opportunity. So hopefully Professor Harvey Kaye can come on next time and remind us. All right, some shout outs. Art, thank you for that love. That's so generous. Thank you so much. Chuck Diesel, a moderator, sending his love, saying, happy Friday, Nomiki. Your next cup of coffee is on me. That's a few cups of coffee there, but thank you, Chuck. I appreciate it. Kyla Rosado, Hawaii is doing a similar economic bill of justice legislative package, part of the feminist economic recovery package, via Kara Jabola. She came on our show a few weeks ago. If you missed that, Kyla, or anybody else, go check it out. It's in the archives. She joined to talk about what's happening in Hawaii. It's really incredible and inspirational. And she came on a Femme Friday, so it'll be easy to find. Pete from Oakland, no better day of the week than Femme Friday. Agreed. Thursdays are also great. I agree. Guess you just dominate the awesome political commentary sphere, Nomiki. Love your perspective and voice. Thank you. I love our guests. I say every day is my favorite. I know that's cheesy, but I really do. Every day has a different vibe. I always leave the show feeling inspired. So hopefully you do too. Fire Kowalski from Nebraska, sending his love, says, Trump must not have funded the Navy. Why did Trump hand Biden a broken military, Tucker? Why did Trump forget to build boats, Tucker? Where were you for the last 4 years, Tucker? Tucker failed us. You're right, because Tucker was the one in Trump's ear. And, what happened? That's what I want to know. All right, we've got some other shout outs. Professor Harvey Kaye was in YouTube today. And big thank you to MIDI Docs and Mario for working those algorithms. And of course, our YouTube moderators, Bob C., Choke in the Orb, and Chuck Diesel again. And of course, on Twitch, Dorian Sapiens, A Difficult Truth, Nightbot, Our Means, and Nug Wrangler. Thank you as always. And as always, stay in solidarity. We will see you on Tuesday. Thanks for watching and listening to The Nomiki Show. But remember to click like and subscribe on YouTube, and please share on social media. If you're not already a patron, please join us for as low as $5 a month on patreon.com/The Nomiki Show for early and special content. That investment makes a huge difference. We are not corporate media raking in the dough. It's really you guys that are keeping us going. So please consider being a patron. And to our current patrons, thank you so much. We are incredibly grateful to you. We also now have swag. So check us out on the nomikishow.com to get your mugs, your totes, and your stickers.